Okay, so second gear, let's review. First gear, the only applied device that was on was the forward clutch, and the reactionary effort was being done by the overrunning clutch or the one-way clutch in the rear reactionary carrier. Once road speed reaches a suitable amount, or when the governor pressure overcomes your main line pressure, okay, or your first gear pressure, it'll initiate an upshift. And in that upshift, fluid will be sent into the intermediate clutch band. The intermediate clutch band holds the intermediate clutch housing, okay, which is this shell here. So let's go review the direction of rotation. Okay, your engine is turning clockwise, so it's going to be driving the driven sprocket clockwise towards me. Okay, I'm going to lay these things on their side to make it clear. So at this point, nothing's changed up to this point. Torque is still coming in to the forward clutch assembly. The forward clutch assembly is still turning clockwise. Okay, the forward clutch is applied, therefore the front ring gear is turning clockwise towards me, which is I'm the front of the car at this point. Okay, now where it differs from first gear is now that the intermediate band is applied to the intermediate clutch housing, right? This housing is lugged to the common sun drive shell, as you can see. So right now the input ring is turning clockwise. Okay, as the input ring turns clockwise, okay, the torque will still be transferring into the front planetary carrier pinions. And at this point, right now, the common sun is held stationary, okay? It's held stationary because the intermediate clutch band is applied, lugs held, these lugs become held, this shell becomes held, which is blind to the common sun, the common sun becomes held. So now that this is held, it basically becomes a single planetary gear set gear ratio. If you're looking at this gear set here, all you need to do is really get rid of all this. All that's part of the second gear output ratio is the sun. I need this. Actually, no, I don't. I'll just support the sun gear with my hand, okay? Know that this shaft here will support the sun gear, the front sun gear. My fingers are holding the sun gear, my hand is representing the drive shell, okay? It's held. This is not moving anywhere. Input torque comes in from the front ring gear, internally clutch, turning clockwise, which will be walking these pinions clockwise, which will turn the whole carrier assembly clockwise, okay? The gear multiplication comes from a medium-sized drive member driving the large-sized drive member, which is carrier, and the sun is held. So input ring, held, sun, output carrier. As the carrier walks around the fixed sun at this point, because this sun gear drive shell is held, torque literally comes out of the gears, or the pinion gears, I'm sorry, through the pinion gear pin into the planetary carrier frame. And as the torque goes through the frame, it exits the frame via these splines. And those splines are attached to the rear ring gear drive shaft, right? The rear ring gear and the rear ring gear actually, and then the rear ring gear is splined to the final drive sun gear drive shaft. So torque, all it includes, all that you need to do second gear power flow, front ring, carrier, splines, output. And the ratio is 1.6 to 1. So let's illustrate that. We're going to illustrate this real quick. Support that. Just use this to support that shell there. Okay. Torque comes in. Driven sprocket. Forward clutch to front ring. Intermediate band. Apply. Common sun stationary, second gear. And this will have, basically, if you marked it with tape, 1.6 to 1 turns. Okay, so let's just do it again. Okay, the tape is right about, so right now they're in line. Right now they're in line. There's the tape's here and the marking's here. I'm gonna start turning it. That's 1. Oh, there you go, see? Just a little bit over 1.5. Now the tape is back up top. That's your second gear. Okay? And since you're there, don't even stop. Third gear, the only difference now with third gear, in addition, okay? First, for third gear to happen, as you speed up, intermediate band releases. The intermediate band is only applied for second gear. Now the intermediate band is gone. That means this is allowed to turn. Only difference is now the direct clutch is applied, which is here. So let's follow me what I'm saying here. Torque comes in from the input shaft, going into the forward clutch shell. Forward clutch is applied. Front ring is input number 1. Direct clutch is applied for third gear. As direct clutch is applied, torque goes in from the input shaft into the forward clutch, comes out of the shell into the direct clutch plates, into the steel plates of the shell. Guess what? These lugs are attached to the common sun. So the power flow here, you have input ring, input sun. You have 2 inputs. When you have 2 inputs, this unit rotates as 1. And I will show you. My hand represents, I'm going to grab the front ring and the common sun together. That is just showing that the torque coming in from the engine is not only turning the forward clutch, it's also turning the direct clutch, which is sending torque to the front, so the common sun, right? Via the sun gear drive shell. Third gear. I'm gonna grab that together. I'm gonna try to support this bearing surface with my hands. Direct drive. That's third gear. That's it.